Gabriel Henrique, Jerusalém é eu. First time reaction coming up in 30 seconds. Ooh, hey, what's up everybody? Matt Criscuolo coming to you up close and personal. I'm going to do a first time reaction to Gabriel Henrique. I've done a bunch of reactions to him already. If you have some time, check out my channel. And he has his own playlist and it is a lot of fun. So check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please, and definitely hit that like button if you like what's going on. So very important to do that for the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, let's get right to this, shall we, and see what's going on with Gabriel Henrique.
Naquela multidão só ele tinha a cruz, a fim de perdoar o meu pecar. E eu não fui capaz de defender sua dor, sabendo que fez tudo por amor. Sobre si Jesus levou, enorme diferença o mundo fez. Eu lembro seu olhar na minha direção, rogando ao Pai perdão para Jerusalém, rogando ao Pai perdão para Jerusalém. Eu não quero errar outra vez, e apesar dos meus erros refez.
Okay, so, you know, what I've noticed about Gabriel Henrique, and also as a musician and recording artist myself, is that he clearly is getting better and better with every time he makes a recording, because he probably listens to himself and he edits. And edits in the sense that when he knows when he goes to record that he's going to attack certain notes a certain way, have certain dynamics and articulation and phrasing, and you work on it and you work on it and you refine it and you get better at it. And he's just, you know, amazing. I mean, the guy is really, really amazing. I applaud him, as I think we all should, for being so passionate and dedicated to his music so that he actually does this artistic process. And gets to the level, to such a high level of musicianship. It's really beautiful. The other thing I notice is that, you know, I don't know if he's getting a lot of requests to do spiritual type of, faith-based music, because I do know the Brazilians well enough that they are very devout. The country of Brazil is, predominantly Christian, as I understand it, and they are quite a religious group of people. And so I think that he's got a huge fan base in Brazil, and that by doing music like this, he's playing music for his audience and for his people. Now, he does also American music and other types of music as well to cross over, but he's obviously paying respect to his audience, and I think that's a great thing too. So back to the music, shall we?
Aliança, eu mesmo quebrei, meu pecado deixou lá na cruz, quando ressuscitou meu Jesus. Minha vida começou outra vez. Oh, meu Senhor, Jerusalém te machucou, Senhor, mas eu também já te neguei. Por dizendo tê-lo em mim, mas lá no fundo eu fui Jerusalém, mas outra chance recebeu Jerusalém. Eu não quero errar outra vez, e apesar dos meus erros você fez a aliança que eu mesmo quebrei. Meu pecado deixou lá na cruz quando ressuscitou meu Jesus.
You know, I mean, whether you like the sound of his voice or even the type of music that he's, you know, performing, it's indisputable that he has an amazing voice. I would venture to say one of the best voices on the planet, honestly. I know there's a lot of fine singers out there and so many different styles and approaches and concepts. And there are a lot of great, you know, but as far as like one who knows how to use the instrument of his voice, this guy here is up there with the best of them, in my opinion. I hear him executing everything so beautifully. I hear a lot of emotion in his voice. And then the other thing that's very interesting that I'd like to point out, since I believe he is devout and spiritual, for whatever that means, but I think, you know, in the context of what we're talking about, I think you know what I mean when I say spiritual, Christian. I think that's coming into play into the way he performs. I really do think that he maybe believes that this music is coming from God and coming through him. I would venture to say that. And the reason why I say that, I'm not a very religious person. I grew up Catholic. My mother is almost a nun. That's how religious she is. I'm very religious when I'm on an airplane, but that's just almost about it. So don't be upset with me. But I still pray, but my prayers usually start off like, "Dear God, if you're there, please A, B, C, D, and E." That's not Gabriel. I don't think that's Gabriel. I think Gabriel is probably a very true and devout Christian. And the point where I was going with that was that as a musician myself, when I have been on the bandstand and performing, the best times that I've played were moments where I felt that there was a higher power and that I was a vessel, a conduit of sorts, where the music was actually coming through me, and I was more of a witness, an observer of the music, and not so much in control and that I personally was the driving force of what that music was. Yes, I was involved with the creation of it, but I felt like it was coming from somewhere else. Now, you can say God, you can say a higher source, you could say an intelligence, whatever you want to call it. The point is that surrendering to something else bigger than me, where this music was coming from, allowed me to not judge the music and not get in the way of the music with my ego by judging it by whether it was cool enough, whether it was hip enough. It was just what it was. And that was, for what it's worth, that was the most enjoyable that I've ever played as a musician. And I believe the audience also was very responsive. There was just something happening when you have that kind of mindset and maybe heart set. I don't know. You tell me what you think.
Minha vida começou outra vez, Jerusalém, eu não quero errar outra vez. Aliança e eu mesmo quebrei, meu pecado deixou lá
Man, was that beautiful. That was really, really, really something else. Very enjoyable. I'm listening to him and I'm thinking about DIMASH. I know some of you out there might be saying, what? How could you even mention DIMASH and Gabriel Henrique in this? I'm mentioning them both in the same sentence. I really do believe that they, are on that same basic plane when it comes to how they use their instrument. I don't know what kind of musicianship in terms of compositional experience that Gabriel Henrique has if he plays an instrument. My understanding, I've seen DIMASH play the door. What's the name of that instrument? The drum, something like that. It's like a guitar. And then my understanding is that DIMASH is conservatory trained, so he understands how to write music. I don't know if Gabriel Henrique has those kinds of, he has that kind of background, but man, I gotta tell you, man, he's just a wonderful, wonderful singer. If there's only one thing that I would say to Gabriel Henrique is, and this is part of every musician's journey, myself and everybody included. There's so much music out there in the world from every corner of the planet. Lots of great Indian music, Middle Eastern music, Italian music, European, American music, you name it. There's music coming from everywhere. So the more as musicians we expose ourselves to those different types of music, it affects the way it affects our art and how we sing and perform. So I'm hoping that Gabriel does expose himself to more than just pop music and pop-oriented styles of singing. I would really hope that he exposes himself to other stuff. You know what I mean? And listen, there's only so many hours in a day, and we're all busy with our lives. So we're all on our own journeys, our artistic journeys and whatnot. And so that's basically my commentary on what's going on. I love Gabriel Henrique. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Hey, look, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And you take it easy. And if it's real easy, take it twice.